Hello, I'm Greg, and I want to introduce you to what's possibly the largest board game tabletop game in the world. I know that's a big claim, but let's just take a quick look and see if that might be the case. And in fact, after all this said and done, this is actually the smaller version. So you can see that what I've done is combined a whole bunch of manufactured games. I've made some of my own. We'll take you through it. It starts over in this far corner here. Just walking towards it. This is what could be called the commercial or market track. You can see that we're at the beginning of the game, and a number of teams haven't even been able to launch a single token yet, a single pawn. We're going to move through it, and meanwhile on the top you can see that some of the gear is stored up there. But in the meantime, there have been teams that have been walking through slowly and collecting stuff and doing other stuff with it. There's movement dice, there's movement tiles, there's movement cards. There's property ownership chips. We're moving through. Many of these games are very recognizable, of course. Do a little free advertising for the ones that are still in print, but many of them are not. Some of them are rare. This one is a bit of an oddball game there. Talk about it in another video. That one is perhaps the most famous tabletop game of all time. Doing something a little different with it. Here's one that's completely not famous. And here's another one, easy money. And then eventually the teams encounter a game that I did up myself. This is a hybrid game where there's roll and move tracks plus territory and tactical. So here's a situation where your token could be abducted by an opposing force, an opposing team as it moves through. And there are various spaces. We can zoom in a little that you don't want to hit. There's a lose all token space. But there's also a world anti-crisis space, which is a very good space to land on, as you might imagine, because you don't want to land on the world crisis space. Here is a privately launched game that I've only ever seen one copy of. Those of you who are into games will probably know these better than me. This is a game that came out of the Royal Canadian Mint. Never seen it before. It was an interesting set of gear, most of which has already been denuded, if you will. That's the end of the market circuit of this game. There's where the scores are kept. This is the team that's playing right now. That's the Greys. So they've got some of their gear ready and waiting to be used. And a lot of it is used in the games over here, but we're going to come back to this stretch because it also goes into here. There's a casino aspect of the game. There's yet another game board. This is Axis and Allies World War I. We've got roulette, and we've got poker and blackjack, and we've got a craps table. Here are some more of the poker gear there, including the real thing. These are antique clay ceramic chips from the Old West. Somebody went to a ghost town, put them up on eBay, and I could not resist them. Beautiful, beautiful chips. Obviously, they're quite fragile. Some more of the movement cards are stored up here. Here's where we can see the team's headquarters. Obviously, that's the Gray team. And one of their allies, the Browns, is beside them. Okay, we've even got a little bit of a stock market thing going there. Got another Axis and Allies game there. It's a smaller version of their world game. We've got two of Avalon Hill's Third Reichs. It's a very complex game. And then the neutral team, there's two big factions of 5 teams each. And then the neutral team, which is orange and pink together. They haven't started. I have to keep all of this in my head. There's 11 different teams that I play. So here's a very large tactical game. I put 5 Avalon Hill Panzer Blitzes together to get that spread. Here's the, just in case the morbid-minded of you out there, that's the dead pile, if you will. That the stuff that's already been used in battle. And they might be able to do a sort of grab bag of that later. Here is Kriegspiel, more Avalon Hill vintage. There's 2 of them put together. In the larger version of this game, there are 4 of them. And here's some generic Hex, which is kind of fun. These things can be had for $7 each, so it's not a big deal. Here's the yellow team. They haven't even started, but their friends who have started have been giving them stuff, as you can see. The blacks and the tans, who also haven't started yet. These are early Bakelite-like poker chips and discs from the 1920s. Another interesting find. Here are the whites. You can see how many dice they have and other kinds of movement. And the poker dice, of course. And in this game, if you're rolling a red number, that's a rearward movement. Okay, red. Same with the decks of cards we saw. If it's a red card, it's a 9 of diamonds, then you can move your token back 9 spaces. If it's a black card, the 9 of spades, you can move your token ahead 9 spaces. That's just how I do it. Purples and then the reds. Greens have already gone. You can see they've amassed quite a lot of stuff. There's some wonderful mix of really good tokens here from Fortress Europa and, of course, Advanced Squad Leader, which a recent video had is the second most complex game ever made, ASL, only behind Imperium. And here are the blues, and they have already done their thing, at least for round 1. So this is the smaller version of the giant game. The larger version is right now packed up. You can see it's sort of packed up along the lines here. There's all kinds of stuff here. Literally hundreds of thousands of pieces are involved. Again, storage up here. And you can judge for yourself what you think. Now, this is, if we walk right back into the main area here, you might think that this is an egregiously, exorbitantly expensive, but no, I found almost all this stuff here. There's yet more in here for this particular game. Let's get a little bit more light. Here's a bunch of poker chips here, various kinds. There's territory markers here. And then, just in case you're into cash, isn't everybody? There's shoe boxes full of cash. There's large-scale territory markers. There's other stuff. Here is an entire canister of special ASL tokens and tokens from Panzer Blitz and also Panzer Leader, early Avalon Hill tactical games. This is a whole huge bin of those. As I was about to say, if you want to get into the found game thing, which I don't know if I've invented it, I doubt it, but I'm going to be writing about it in my next book, which will be about gaming in general. But if you're into the found game thing, then just be aware that almost all this stuff has come out of junk stores, thrift stores, collectibles, and then when I feel like I have latched onto a particular game, like some of the early Avalon Hill stuff, then I'll purchase it off the net. I want to put in a plug, by the way, for 2 American-based gaming stores, Historical Board Gaming in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Love you guys. And then Noble Knight in Wisconsin. I'm sure that gamers out there have heard of them. Brilliant store. Prices are awesome. Obviously, if you're in the U.S., they're truly awesome. If you're in Canada like I am, not so much. The prices are great, but then I'm paying more in customs and import duty than I pay at point of purchase, so just be aware of that. But in general, you're going to find a lot of this kind of gear, and anything goes, right? As you can see, I put together all kinds of stuff. We didn't take the rest of this. And even here we have vintage movers from the 30s and 40s. Let's take a quick look at this box of vintage movers. There it is. Who knows where all that stuff's come from. In the higher quality, larger version, I want to stress again that this is still the smaller version of the game. We've got vintage and antique movers from the 1900s through the 1920s. So all of that stuff has come out of junk stores and the like. And so as a hobby, a very immersive hobby. One of these games takes about 4 months to play out. As an immersive hobby, it's just great fun and it's really cheap. So you just cannot go wrong with something like this. All right. Thanks again for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it.